I hope we'll be online soon. Oh, great. We're already live on Twitch. Let's check if YouTube is also online and then we're good to go. Looks good. So welcome to the Livewired live stream. And today we're doing something different. Not doing anything with drum machines or electronic music. Today we are doing a mixing session of acoustic drum kit that I recorded for the metal band Melinor, where I play bass. And I just received this controller here, the Panorama CS12 by Nektar, which has this Cubase integration that got my attention from some YouTube videos. And I'd like to see if this is something that will also improve my workflow in mixing or handling Cubase generally. I have quite a long history of using DAW controllers. My first controller was the Behringer BCF 2000 with motorized faders, which I didn't use that much. The implementation was rather clunky and not so easy to use. So I dropped this one, and then I had some smaller DAW controllers like the ones from Korg Nano Control series. I use them slightly more, especially with my laptop, on the way. But eventually I got rid of this as well, and then I acquired the Mackie MCU Pro, which was quite expensive and great quality, and I actually used it especially for recording and mixing and editing metal rock music. I used it a lot until the faders began to be slightly misbehaving, so to say. So they just started to live their own life and move, which is of course not good if you're trying to do a mix. If your signals are randomly changed by a few decibels and you don't even know about it. So yeah, I had to drop it as well, and I actually got used to work with keyboard and mouse in the 95% of the time. But then I saw some videos about this new Cubase integration. I think the controller as such is not that new, but the Cubase integration is something that is a new feature. And from what I saw, it's promising. So let's see if it lives up to my expectations. I'm not a native speaker here. Sorry. So let's first take a look at the controller before we go on with the mixing session. So what we have here is one motorized fader. It's an Alps fader, basically the same that are in the Mackie MCU Pro. The fader cap is different. I think it's a thing of taste. Feels all right, like your regular fader. Then you've got your pan, rotary knob, arm, solo, mute, select, the stuff, to control the channel, select the channel. You have the transport section, loop, left, right. Okay, with this you can move through the bars or stop, play, record, obviously. Metronome, and if you use it with like shift metronome, you have a count in activation or not. I'll not be using this in the mixing session, but during recording, it's quite nice to have this activated. You have your mixer knob, and also with shift mixer knob, you can open, I think, you can open the channel settings window. Yeah, here you go. So a few times, which is also nice. I mean, in the Steinberg CC 1-to-1 controller, there's just this E knob that resembles your E knob here. But that's okay. With this magnifying glass button, you can fine-tune your steps, like if you're zooming or panning or using the fader, you can adjust if it's a fast change or a slow change. Basically, you've got your zoom rotary knob here. So with this knob, you have horizontal zoom. If you push shift, then it's vertical zoom. That's kind of handy. I mean, of course, you can do this with keyboard as well, or just with mouse here at the lower right corner of Cubase, right? So works both ways. And then you've got your insert controls from 1 to 16. You can switch to the second bank with this knob here. And of course, you can control the sands. And the channel button, I'm not really sure what it does, but I guess we'll find out. So let me first save my project here. Oh yeah. Besides the inserts, you can also control the channel strip of the Cubase mixer. If you open it up, I show you what I mean. I mean this area here where you've got your gate, compressor, EQ, tools, saturation, limit, whatever. So you basically can also quick control this with these knobs. And also when you load insert plugins, you can also control them with these rotaries and with these buttons, which is for me probably the biggest advantage of this unit. If they're auto-mapped and you have all your parameters, so you can just adjust them, especially with two hands, which you cannot do with mouse, of course, right? This would be an advantage that I'm looking to into test, right? So yeah, we can maybe shortly demonstrate how the EQ works. As you see, it's already activated here, and there you go. You've got all your parameters, almost all your parameters, right? You've got your gain, your frequency, your Q. No, this is a pre-filter. Now you've got your Q, and if you hit the pre-filter, these four buttons, they resemble the four possible menus here on the screen. So if you click that, you also got additionally, and this is a color code, which is very cool for your low cut, your high cut, and your gain. So the gain is something that I use all the time for gain staging, of course. I prefer not to use faders that much, but and it's there. This is something I really like. So actually, if there would be one knob that I need to have, it would probably the gain knob, because I use it all the time when preparing the session, when making a songwriting session, you know. So good to have it. Good to have it. All right. Let's see if we can go through the other settings, not just the EQ. So you see, when I click this, nothing happens. And this is something I already saw, but I thought maybe it was my issue. So if these modules are deactivated, then you, for whatever reason, actually cannot activate them from the controller. You have to first turn them on in the DAW, so in your software, and then it lights up, and then you can actually, I think with shift, turn it on and off. Yeah, then you can turn it on and off. Let's demonstrate with gate if it will work. With the shift, maybe it's my fault. You see, no. So the compressor is not turning on. So I have first also to activate the compressor, and then I can deactivate this. I think this is, yeah, something that should be fixed fairly easily, I hope, because if not, that would be a really real bummer. All right, so then you have your noise gate that you can adjust, which is kind of cool if you use the onboard plugins from Cubase, and these are good. There's nothing bad to say about them, but I used to use the Fab Filter gate, especially for gating drums. I think just the best. But I mean, if I need to work with this, I would also be able to work with this, obviously. All right, the compressor. This is your standard compressor, and can you switch between different types with the data menu or the shift data menu? No, you can't. You could switch this in the UI. You could switch between like standard compressor, tube, and vintage compressor, right? Can hit E, and then you see the preview. You don't see this, of course, on the controller. All right, anyways, let's deactivate them for now. I want to activate the EQ probably, but the rest of it is okay. With Sans, you can add your send effects, from my understanding. Not sure if I had any on in my project right now. I think you first have to create them. All right, so this for the overview. Now maybe I'll show you the back of the unit. You've got your power, got foot switch, which you can assign different operations to, like tap tempo or record or play. Could come in handy, especially if you're recording guitar, you know, and you want to start. You start your recording not with your hand but with your foot. It's kind of cool. Got your USB-C, and I'm not sure if you can see this, but it's slightly wobbly here, and USB-C end of it doesn't go all the way in. It's kind of doesn't look very stable, but it holds. So the cable is also long enough. I've got also a DC 5-volt power supply, but it's USB power, so you don't have to connect this extra. You can, but there is it works perfectly also with your USB power. Okay. The enclosure is in plastic. Doesn't look cheap. It looks all right. The knobs feel good. The fader, if you know the Alps fader from Mackie MCU Pro, it's basically about the same. I have a slight impression it's slightly quieter than these on the Mackie, but I'm not sure about this. So the rotary knobs working as well. What I didn't find until now, let's demonstrate the zoom button. So you see I'm currently rotating all the way right, all the way left. I got this displayed in here, and also of course in my Cubase UI, and I didn't find a way to set this to center. Like in Cubase, if you want to center something, you simply hover over with your mouse, hit Command on Mac or Control on PC, and then just click, and then it's centered. Right here, you've got to adjust it with your fingers, which is not optimal for my taste. So here, if you activate the magnifying glass, you see that it's much more precise, right? It's getting slower, and you can actually easier scroll to center, but again, CMD click or rotating the knob and making sure that the magnifying glass icon is activated and then deactivate it if you don't need it. I don't think that it really makes my workflow faster. Okay, we'll see that. I'm really excited about looking how you can control all the plugins and stuff with these controls. What can I say about these guys? They feel alright. However, in touching them, I see that some knobs are way lighter than the others. So, yeah, these two are definitely much more lighter than other ones. They are LED lit, which is really great, so you have this resemblance. But I'm not exactly sure about the quality. If they are already, it's a brand new unit. I just received it yesterday, right, and didn't use it for more than maybe an hour or something. And I already see that there are differences on the spots. Well, it's got to decide. I mean, this is not a expensive DAW controller. There are much more expensive ones on the market, but it's still like around 360 or 370 euros. Probably $380 or $400 or something if you're in the US. And that's just, it's not a cheap controller. So there are cheaper ones with, I think, same amount of functions besides this Cubase integration. So this is something that will make it stand out in my opinion. And let's see if it stands up to its claims. All right. So let us take a look at our project here. This is a metal song. I recorded just the drums, just the multi drums, and let's listen what it sounds like. There's no editing, nothing. I think maybe panning. Let's look. kind of metronome. Works. Yay. Let's get some overview. What do you have here? We got your overhead, stereo, kick, snare up, snare down, so top and bottom. High tom, middle tom 1, middle tom 2, low tom, which is also a floor tom, I think. And then some utility, but we don't need. Let's take a look at the mixer, and I would regularly do the F3 on my keyboard, but here let's use the mixer knob. Take a look at the mixer, let's adjust its size, see it better. Got all the channels. Okay, the inputs, well, I can actually make them disappear. I hit the zones, and then now this would zone this out. I want to switch the visibility. I basically will drag the mouse so I don't see the channels I don't want to see. These are the input channels as well. Let's remove them. Okay, there we go. There's also a click track that is muted. And let's create a mix bus first, and then gain stage and stuff. So I didn't find any possibility to create tracks from the controller. Maybe they will add this function sometime, maybe not, never know. Okay, see there's some panning already. Let's just maybe reset the panning as well, so we just kind of begin from start. I see there's some high cuts and low cuts, but okay, and you've got a limiter on your master, just so we don't have any overloads. But let's take a look. So it's not even hitting the limiter, so we're safe here. No sound coloration is expected here. Go here. Okay. Yeah, the pannings. Can I see the pans here? Yeah, of course I can see them. But let's remove. I want to do this all with controller. The gains are not set. Okay, good. So let us create. We go again to mixer, and I hit the F3, not the controller, but that's because the keyboard is also a bit nearer to me. And now I'll select the active channels with Shift. I'll hit Q-Link, so I can process them together. No, I'll do it first with toms. Let's group the toms first, and add to the group, which we will call toms. Good. Then we select the both snare channels. Q-Link is still active, so let's create a group, call it snare. Yeah, kick and overhead. Right now I don't need any, but I will create a group for the kick because I might add some samples. So it's good to have a group as well. I call it kick. Alright. Now let's select our 3 groups. And we also create a mix bus group for them. Call it mix bus. I'm not adding any plugins. I do like to make top-down mixing. So basically adding first some plugins like bus compressors, equalizer, and tape machines on the mix bus track, and then I would make less adjustments with single tracks. But before this, we have to edit. So alright, let us see the routing. It's all mixed, routed to mix bus. The overheads obviously should also be routed to mix bus. The rest is fine, and the click we do not need to route at all. Just let's remove the bus for now. I can also actually remove it from the overview of the channels, or I can, what is it, click? Oh, it's in utility. Just remove this. Alright, you don't need to see it right now, so that's fine. And maybe I would like to move the overheads after the toms, like here. Yeah, looks a bit more standard. Alright. So, we only had the kick out microphone during the recording. So I think we will need some kick samples as well. But first let's look what we have here. And what about the levels actually? Do you actually need to back gain stage a lot to do the gains? Let's see the master. Oh yeah, I guess I will. So let us look here on the controller. Go to the kick channel, and we go to EQ, and we hit pre-filter, and then we can reduce the gain. Let's do it like I will regularly do this with 12 dB, or minus 14 dB, but I'll keep it on 12 today. No, maybe even on 10, just so that audio is not too quiet in the stream. Okay, minus 10 dB. Let's go to the next track with this M2 and 1 buttons. You see the snare up is selected. Doing the same stuff here. Minus 12, minus 10 dB, 10.5, it's alright. Next, 10.5, 10. Next, 10. Better say minus 10. Another one is minus 10. The other tom. And the next tom. Okay, and the overhead as well. Oh, now it's pretty quiet, but we can still readjust at the master with the limiter, so still don't hit the zeros, but we can still hear everything. Here just increases by 11 dB. Let's maybe do slightly more. Yeah, still not hitting anything. Okay, so we are safe. Nothing is overloading, which is great. So the gain works nice. I like it. However, to be honest, what I would regularly do, I will select the Q link in Cubase. I will shift select all the channels, and then simply type minus 10, right? And you've got it. So it's definitely much more faster, probably 10 times faster, or the number of times faster than the channels you have to gain stage, right? Okay, let's listen to the kick. Yeah, sounds a bit weak. Let's see what we can do with the Q here, and we can go to pre-filter. And by the way, with these knobs here, you can activate or deactivate the pre-filters. So let's do this. Okay, pre-filter on kick 100 Hertz is not a good thing. Let's put it like on 25 Hertz something-ish. And the high cut, let's keep it on 12 or even on 10 kilohertz. Works good. We could also do some adjustments with this EQ, like the basic ones, before we maybe go to the fab filter queue. Let's look what it can do, right? So we've got our EQ, we've got our bands. Let's deactivate the pre-filter, so get our Q and our bands. You can also activate or deactivate them, right? And let's open up the channel control to see what's happening. I'll move it slightly to the left so you can see it all. All right, so now we got our band. You see it selected, and the frequency is 100. Let's just gain it slightly. Oh, it's on a different channel. I see. Interesting. That's I had selected the kick drum, I thought. Let's go back to no mix channel kick. Here we go. Okay, let's see. Okay, that's why. So the filter is set to 30 hertz here and here 8000 hertz. Pre-gain is -10. Alrighty. Now let's deactivate the pre-filter and look at the view. Let's activate the band. It's gained by 1.2 dB at the low of 700 hertz. Why? Let's move it to like 100-ish, 120. That's not what it does. Just doing crazy stuff. 24 dB. Let's keep it to 6 dB for now. And take a look at the pre-filter. Is it active? Now it's active. Okay. Then let's do some gating. And for this, I'd like to select, I would go to inserts, I guess. Right, and can I select a plugin from here? No, I cannot. Okay, so I'll have to select this manually, and I remember that with Mackie-M2 Pro I actually could load plugins from the control surface. Maybe this is something they might look into as well. So let's load up the Pro G, the create gate by a fab filter, and there you go. You get your parameters, or everything you need. You can also bypass the noise gate, look ahead, gate, expert mode, so you have even more parameters, and I think you can scroll through them with the data menu knob, but here it's all on one page. So alright, let's look. Is there a difference in the UI? No, it just sticks to expert mode. Let's see if I can load presets. Is there like an up? No, this is just your panorama still. Weird. Okay, let me put up that kick drum. I don't hear it very well here. Okay, now let's look. The noise gate is already working. Pen level, wet level. Alright, I don't. Oh, so I go to gate now. Let's just threshold. Now we hear the snare. We don't want that. I still hear the snare. Okay, what about the modes? Okay, let's activate the magnifying glass. It's too slow. clean, vocal, guitar, upward. Let's stick to, I guess, clean. The ratio is alright. Let's adjust the knee and the release. Go ahead. Let's look at the hold. Okay, and I can see a way to cannot see a way to scroll between the presets. Okay, let's look what we have here in the presets in the UI. Let me move it to here. What do we've got? Kick, metal. Hopefully. Let's bypass. Okay, let's adjust the threshold. Okay, with magnifying glass, we got more control here. Turn the threshold to have too much bleed in here. You also see that this punch is going away. Interesting. Play with the range. Oh, the punch is back. Right, it's not working now because of the range. Maybe I should switch to the inserts and drive the hi-hat down. Still the bassy part. Let's drive let's go to 500 hertz. Remove mids. Let's go back to the gate now. Selected it. With this, I can activate the cycle. So I guess with double stop, I go back to the beginning, hit play, nothing. Okay, it's still at the back. Let's go back. All right. I'm still not happy with the sound of the. Sounds very papery, doesn't it? Okay. Go back to the channel. Let's look at the EQ again with shift and mixer. There we go. Let's activate the channels. Phase doesn't play any role. Pre-filter. All right. The high cut. Doesn't sound good. Just doesn't sound good. What you wanna do? Just the cue. That's on solo. Now let's turn the fader slightly down. Completely off. Yeah, it's not even close, but for the beginning it's alright. I'm not sure about the gate though. Can I do this better with the gate? Solo it out. Yeah, sometimes we have to click 2 times. This is strange. Okay. Go to inserts. Here. Select the gate. Bypass. Okay. Now it's basically doing nothing. Let's maybe go to channel strip and activate the gate here. Maybe it will work better. What's happening here? Why can I do that? Alright, let's go to mixer and check if, okay, this is not activated. Something I told, right? About the strip here, okay. So I have to activate this here. And then I've got your Steinberg noise gate. It works better than the fab filter one just from the default setting. Not bad. Let's, can I deactivate this with the shift? Does a better job. Okay. Let's roll with this gate then. Bypass it again. Shift Shift and the plugin. It's not optimal, but it's much better, right? Let's unsolo. Okay. Now let's check the snare channel, and for this I'm going to go to the here's the kick. So you see that the fader is jumping around when you switch the channels, and does it pretty fast. This is nice, but now I want to go to the snare. Now I want to solo that. Okay. Let's address the single snare channel first. Go back to snare up and do our filters first. Activate the filter. Fuck. Let's keep it about 130 hertz. And the high cut. Activate this as well. Okay, it doesn't show the signal because, or you can hear the reduction of high because the snare down is activated, obviously. Now you hear it. All right, also a lot of bleed in here. Way too much bleed. I'm afraid I'll have to use samples on this one as well. Maybe we can save something with the snare down. But again, here, let's activate the gate. Oh, that's a bit too much. Reduce the threshold. Okay, that's too much. And the blast bits, when I play the blast bits, it's obviously completely over. I will have to cut this later. Okay. Or increase the volume. Let's look, zoom in. Do some vertical zoom as well. I want to demonstrate how the thing is working, right? Okay, so it's, for whatever reason, it's increasing a different event, which is in the kick. I have to adjust this. Okay, let's vertical zoom now. Shift and zoom. Okay, so it zooms every other channel, but not the one that is selected. This is interesting. This is very interesting. Maybe, okay, the horizontal zoom is working, but the vertical zoom zooms in everything else. Okay. Oh well, whatever. Can increase it with the mouse. Probably easier. Okay, now let's zoom in and take a look. What do I have here? So, okay, not every hit is good. Okay, let's bypass this. Better, not great, but better. Now let's select the next one. Solo it out. got some better separation here. All right, go to EQ again, pre-filter, let's activate high pass and low pass. Set the low cut to 158 Hertz. Let me display it. Shift M4. Okay, then activate the high cut and set the high cut to 9,000 Hertz. Again, I cannot activate the gate from the controller, so I will have to go to the mixer and activate the gate like this, and then adjust the threshold. Let's go to our view, and with this knob I think you can hide the plugins, but there is no plugin on this channel, so nothing to hide. But I still can remove the thing here. Okay. Looks better. Let's unsole. All right. Now we are still focusing on the controller, not on the drums. Let's do some panning. Let's take a look at the toms. And we'll switch to the tom channels: high tom, mid tom 2, low tom. Let's pan channel. No. I want to select the high tom. Yes, that's it. Let's pan it to the left. Like, let's say 55%. Then we'll switch to the next middle tom, like 20 to the left. And the next middle tom will be at the right, about 20. And the floor tom will pan to 55-ish to the right. Works good. Okay, so the panning works all right. I mean, I would do the same if I would go to mixer and obviously set the settings in here. Works both ways. I'm not sure what's faster. But there is something to this tactile experience, I must admit, and I liked it. But it's still, it's still not something like a analog console where you sit in front of it, which I did a few times. I had the pleasure to do some mixing sessions in the studios, and when you're working on the actual console, then you basically don't have a mouse there, right? So you have to work with this, and this is cool, especially if the console sounds good, right? Here, I like it, yeah. Could I live without it? Absolutely. Because you have to think, this is something that you do at the beginning of your session, or maybe readjust once or twice during the mixing session, and then that's it. And it just stands, it's standing here, and taking up space, right? So, and this is not a huge unit, yeah. So if you compare it to the Mac keyboard, the Mac keyboard is even wider, right? So it's not a huge unit. I think the size selection is quite good. I wouldn't do it larger, and probably could be a little bit smaller, but not really. So the size is good. It still takes space, and up for me now to decide if I want to have the space occupied by this controller or not. However, you saw, I did the panning, I did the EQ settings. All well, it works. Okay. I'm thinking right now if it's really doing it faster. I can't tell for now. I really can't tell. Let's just move on. So now we've got our panning, and let's listen further. Maybe switch to a place with many tom breaks, like here. All right. Okay. So for now, I would suggest we do some rendering so that the gates are baked in. So hold CMD and to render in place with settings. Okay, I know it's in German. You have to trust me on this one. So it says dry transfer channel settings. No way. I want to have the channel settings. Just the channel settings. And let's do this. Oh, it's called snare gated. No, it's actually then kick G. Now let's render this. So in case I would like to replace the samples, I would want to have it gated because I would use the superior drummer, and I don't want to have any unneeded hits in there, because as soon as I will drag and drop this wave file to superior drummer, there's a danger that the superior drummer will add additional drums from the other bleed signals. Same here with the snare, right? Render in place, render with render settings. And it says channel settings. Let's render this as well. And this is, I mean, if you're talking deep Cubase integration, right? This is something I would like to have here, like a button for, a function button that they can use just for this. Like, here you can assign a function here and say render in place. This is something I use, right? This is something I really use. It would help, but I could as well put it on a on my keyboard shortcut, or let me show you this. I've got this unit and still didn't find the time to make a configuration of it, which is this guy, which is called Active Key by whatever, activekey.de. So basically it's like an additional keyboard, and you can adjust every button to whatever you want. And I have a lot of ideas how I can do this. This is helpful. This is pretty small, right? If you compare it to this unit, and you can basically have 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 35 knobs, and with like multiple banks, you can use it for your editing, for your songwriting, for quantizing, for adding MIDI notes, render in place, whatever you want, basically. You have this, and then you have your label printed out, and this is actually cool. I'm not sure they produce them anymore. They're definitely not as expensive as this Stream Desk or Steam Desk or whatever they call them, right? But no LEDs, but I don't really need an LED here. So maybe a few knobs in here would be great. Maybe if they could just select and then assign some Cubase functions. This would be real Cubase integration, because EQ, fading, solo, arm mute, record. This is standard stuff, and basically this the keyboard can do this as well, right? So cool thing about this, what is really Cubase integrated in here. If we take a look at the snare now, right, that I just rendered. Where is it? Snare up R. Now I can go and say that I hit Shift and Tempo, and you have here different functions that you can assign the tempo to. like playhead, jog, scrub. Nudge is good, especially if you edit. I will try this out. Loop, you can just move the loop left and right. Zoom vertical, okay. So you can basically assign the zoom vertical, and you don't have to hold select and zoom or shift and zoom, but you can just do this, right? Fine, but not what I would like to have here. What I would like to show is that you can go to actual clip gain. Now this is cool. We have our clip selected, or how to actually select the clip from the keyboard. Can I do that? I can jump to locator with these arrows. You have your undo, obviously, and redo. Oh, nice. Got your markers. But can I select an actual clip with some arrows? I don't see that. Okay. So if I select the channel, still it's snare up, snare. Okay, let me select it like this. And now in regular Cubase, I would go here and adjust the clip gain to my liking. And here I can do this with the tempo knob. Then this is great. This is a cool feature. This is something Cubase special. I like it. Okay, let's play. Why is it actually playing beyond the looping and doesn't return to the beginning? Interesting question. Yeah, it sounds better than before. Let's maybe still adjust the clip gain. All right, cool. Let's go snare down and perform the snare down. Render in place as well with current settings. We know that it's channel settings. Okay. As you see, as soon as you render in place, the original track is being deactivated. And I could just go and drag it to my utility folder so it doesn't take space. Here we go. And the kick can go as well. Come on. Come on. Yep. And now we've got us kick R, snare up, snare down. This is the deactivated one. Okay. Now we've got our snare down, R, just rendered. Again, let's select and do a clip gain. Okay. I'll give them that. This is a cool feature. It's nice. Okay. So the kick is selected here. Maybe you want to have it. Why can't I jump to my kick bus? Interesting. It just skips it somehow. Oh yeah, it's a different one. Okay, I see. Okay. Let's jump to our first kick and increase the clip gain too. All right. Okay, it doesn't select the event. This is the bummer. This is a bummer, really. The fader is smooth. It works as it should. Can't say nothing bad about this. All right. What about the toms here? I see that with a high tom, can just edit this out. Don't need to use or to waste a gate on here. Just 1 or 2 hits in the whole song. Now, a little tip: use fade outs in this cut so you don't have pops or clicks. Let's put it up to the transient. Now let's use this zoom, right? Works good. And then I still have to adjust this manually. Gotta turn out the snap. And right, let's zoom in even more. And let's do this somewhere near 0. Okay, now zoom out. Works good. And hit play. Good. Switch back. Works well. Solo. Play. Da-da-da-da. Is it 4 times? Let's pretend it's 4. All right. And now I want to zoom in. And what I would wish is like something like a cut function, maybe. So, you know, so you scroll with this knobs, and it just scrolls by the beat. Do quantize or adaptive zoom. What if I zoom in even more? Yeah, the steps are finer, but not really useful, to be honest. Okay, zoom in. Let me just cut it up just for demonstration purposes. I don't need to do this, or maybe I do. So I got all my 4 clips, and then I can adjust it. So this, yeah, really, this is fine. If I would be only able to somehow jump, you know, to select the events with these arrows, this would be really nice. And for whatever reason, maybe it's me who doesn't know what to do, which I suppose is true almost every time. But I'd wish I would be able to switch between this. Maybe with select. Nope. What about shift? I'll take a look at the shift now. So go back, zoom in, and shift arrow. No, this. No, and this sets the locators. Okay. Unfortunately, this is not working as I would like it to, but you can't have everything, probably. All right, here we've got slightly more movements. I see the low toms. Could do some. Let's solve this out. Do want to get it out. Let's first check out the EQ. The pre-filter is on. Let's put up the channel settings so we can see what happens in Cubase as well. Let's set to 40 Hertz. I'm fine with that. The high cut. Yeah, let's turn out the let's loop our low tom. For this I do a small cut. That's how I do it, you know, small cut, and then with P you set your locator. With what about the markers? No, not sure. Shift. Okay. Good. So the high cut is way too aggressive. Again, shift, mixer. No, just the mixer. Let's take out the gate. Aggressive gate, isn't it? Let's try the Pro G here. Oh yeah, so go to the insert, go to Pro G. First, I still want to load a preset. Drums. Do we have some toms here? Kick metal, kick short, whatever. What about the toms? Snare, low tom. It just filters. Let's look. Just the threshold. Yeah, so with toms I would rather recommend to cut them out if there's too much bleed. Just cut everything where you don't need it. Now, I'm not sure you can do this with a mouse. You can do this with your controller faster than with a mouse. I think mouse is just way more precise than actually probably any controller would be, to be honest. Maybe in the future they will do some AI stuff, so that it will, you know, point this out for you, and then who knows. Okay. Oops. Oh, you see, heard it pop at the end. It's because I didn't cut it well and I didn't do a fade. Just a small fade is enough. You see, now it sounds much better. Okay, let's take a look at this guy. Oops. Yeah, a small fade. Preview. Okay, you know, I'm working with a keyboard by now. You can see this. Because of, when you cut, I'm not sure how you actually can do this, or if you can do this with this DAW controller at all. I'm not sure. Okay, fade. Got a cut here. This we don't need. Make a cut. Zoom in. Again, I zoom in with mouse. I already have a mouse under my hand, right, on my finger. So to move my finger to a control surface to do a cut or a fade. And by the way, I don't see how you can do a fade with this with the control surface as well. Or zoom in and zoom out. You know, I just do it with one finger basically. So that speaks again, not for a controller, but you know, your mileage might vary. Something that doesn't work for me might work for you, right? Okay, Good. Let's do another cut in here. Fine. Any questions until now? Anybody watching at all? Okay. No questions until now? Good. All right. Then we'll go on. Let's go on with the editing the load time. Nothing here. Here I can use the zoom. This is handy. Like this, yeah. Okay, now zoom in. Good. Put in position. Okay. Not sure if this is a snare or a tom. Not sure. Let's keep it for now. Now zoom back in. Oh yeah, there he goes. Starts to play the low tom a lot. Don't forget the small fade cut here. And there we go again. Cut, fade. What about this tempo knob? Let's look. What is it? Just a nudge, or can I also do a cut or loop? No, I can't. What's with the scrub? What does the scrub do? It's just ping there back and forth. Okay, yeah, just scrubbing like on a regular DAW controller. I don't use it that much, to be honest. Okay, then let's check if clip gain, zoom vertical, loop, scrub, playhead, tempo. Not well, nudge. I'll just demonstrate it. Nudge is basically showing the the event. Let's undo that. Works. Fine. Now zoom out, zooming out, moving, zooming in. So as you see, I still heavily have to rely on a mouse. Fade. Didn't sound that good, didn't it? Better. Now zoom out until the next tom hit. Cut. Set fade. Some parts of this job are slightly boring, to be polite. Let's do cuts between. Oh God. Okay. I obviously will not cut every tom for this video because it will be just too long. I'll put a gate on there and hope that I can cut out enough of tom-toms. Delete. Again, the delete button is something I would expect to be on a control surface. Cut or delete. I mean, if they can do this on the MPC, why? What's the problem with putting this button on the DAW controller? Because this is something that you, when you edit, right, or when you do songwriting, for the fact, and copying your parts and stuff, this is something you do: copy, paste, cut. These are basics in my opinion, and to not have them, yeah, I mean, I know probably they would then have to make a much larger controller. You know, the Mac M2 Pro is a huge thing, right, with thousands of buttons. Wouldn't be possible to, probably wouldn't be possible to implement in this form factor. But then again, you can do like function keys, like, you know, add just one key for like third or fourth scenario, you know, so switch and bang, and you have your, you know, edit tools like delete, select, adjust the clip length. Don't forget the fades. I would wish to have stuff like this, right? Because if I don't have this, then I'll have to jump back and forth, you know, do some stuff with the mouse, then I jump to the controller, and then I go back to the mouse again because the controller doesn't have this or this function. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. What do you think about this? How's your workflow? Would it be sufficient for you? Am just me being very picky? Or do you also think that for a deep Cubase integration, you would also like to have more functions? Maybe not. Again, I can also say I dislike the unit. I like it actually, but I'm not sure now. I'm really not sure. This being said, of course, I'm used to work with mouse and keyboard all the time. And it's not easy for me to just automatically go to a control surface. But you know, like this, something, the zoom, you see, I tend to use a lot. This is cool. I mean, I could do this with my Mac as well. Hold Command and then move with the finger on the mouse. It's probably even faster. But this works too. This works too. Okay. Let's look here. Do another fade. Cut. Remove. You know, this stuff. I would like to have this on the control surface. And if I don't, then maybe the control surface is not much of a help for me. Okay, good. I obviously will have to do a lot to this instruments to make them sound better. Do a fade. Okay. Are we done? Are we done yet? No. There's no fade here. Oh yeah, at the very end, in the very beginning. Let's take a listen, or this is definitely not a tom here. This too. Fade. Fade. Cut. We're almost done. Let's cut this one and add a fade. Add a fade here tiny fade here too. Okay, go to the end, jumping to the end, do the cuts here. If it have some better microphone placement and a better room, we would probably be able to reduce the bleed so much that I wouldn't be needing to cut the tom-toms. But to be honest, I do this almost every time. Especially for metal. Like for rock, you can think if you want to keep this bleed in, right? Why not? But for metal, you don't want to have too much extra information. At least not always. And in this case, I tend not to keep too much bleed active. All right, got this on solo. Let's play. Oh yeah, now it's not selected. We select with B. The cycle is activated. And I hope it goes. Yeah. The crack from that snare. Let's go to the snare down and reduce it. Yeah. Okay. Now let's look more into the plugin control with the Nektar. Let us go to our mix bus. There we go. The mix bus is selected and go to inserts. Oh, now I'm on G channel. No, I want it to be on the mix bus channel. Okay, now I want to edit the inserts. Okay, here number 1, and yeah, I cannot load. So I would expect to if I rotate the data menu knob or hit enter, that it would like be some kind of a drop down with the plugins that I could select. This is the way it's implemented in the Mackie MCU Pro, if I remember correctly. Okay, but not here. Shift and this menu, open the channel edit. And so at first, I suggest I would want to add some bus compression. And for this, I'll take the UAD SSLG bus. I can also recommend the gray channel by Slate Digital. This is also a great one. But this one does basically the same stuff. Right, let's take a play. Again, let's hit the edit button, and here we have our settings. Let's play with the threshold. For the rate, 4:1 is maybe too much. Let's give it on 2:1. Sidechain filter, auto fade. Where's the high pass? Power in, power out. Okay. Oh, here the sidechain filter, alright. And it's also here, now it's off, and let's put it on. I want to kick to control the... So what I'm doing right here is just I set up the bus compressor the way that it's only slightly activated only on snares. I don't want to have this on kick drum, right? Make the snare pop out slightly better, you know, be more audible. Okay, so basically we've got all of our controls right here. It's fine, and the layout is cool. Well, cool, I mean, you see everything, right? You see everything, and this is a good thing. Can have activate or deactivate your auto fade. Nice. So it's kind of pre-mapped already, I suggest. And they did a good job. Of course, you don't have any visual feedback here, right? You just only the settings. And I always look at the VU meter on this bus compressor just to make sure that it doesn't jump around too much, right? All right, now let's go to the second slot of the inserts. Yeah, obviously there's nothing there. So we go to Shift Mixer, and then we move with our mouse, and okay, now this one is gonna be hard because I want to put out the Pro Q. I don't need to now. I would be able to use the Cubase EQ as well, but I just want to see what it looks like. So from the first view, it looks nice. You see, you've got Pro Band, you've got your color separation, and then you've got a lot of bands. Bands 1 to 4, 5. Oops, stop shape dynamics. My God, so much stuff to do here. Q. All right. Can I? Data menu. All right, so here you can switch between the bands, like 1 to 4, 5, 8, and so on and so forth, up to 24 bands. Okay. Here you can adjust the slopes and whatnot. Okay. Now, let me look. I want to increase the gain, but as you see, nothing happens in here. Maybe I can activate the band or deactivate it. No way. Why is that? Maybe activate it like this. Doesn't happen. So maybe I can activate it. I click here, double click to create a band. Okay, now if I will adjust it, yeah, here we go. Now the adjustment works. I want to cut it everything below 35 Hertz. My frequency, this is the gain. Okay, I would rather do the Q, not the gain. How can I switch? To shape, probably, I guess. Right, the shape. Do I do this with data menu? No. What do I do it with? Maybe with the knobs? No. Okay, but here, now I can activate and deactivate it once again. So the same thing as with the channel strip. You first have to activate the band or the settings in the UI of the plugin, and then you can control this. I don't know what's so complicated. Maybe it's kind of a code issue. Not sure, but this is something that is not so great, to be honest. Okay, let's keep working again. Now I've got my high cut 30. Deactivate. All right, now I want to have it this setting. I cannot adjust this here. Okay. Now what about this? Again, no function. No function until I activate it here. So I have to do another double click. And now I can control this. Can I at least select the shape or the Q? I have the Q. Okay, the Q is up here. The gain, let's go up to 140 Hertz. Let's play, slightly increase the gain. And you see here it says plus 11 dB, which is not the case in here. Alright, let's reduce the Q. I actually want it to be low shelf, not a bell curve. Shape, low shelf. Just a slight boost at the low end. Without it, nothing special. Okay, now I want to activate the fourth band, and I know it probably won't work like this. It's the third band technically. Okay, so I want to put in some high shelf. Can I shift? Use B3, whatever this means. Not sure what this means, but okay. Also slight gain of 3 dB. Frequency, let's move. Oh, sorry. Just luckily a high shelf already. Oh, let's add another band with mouse again. You gotta, guys at Nektar, if you're ever gonna see this, yeah, please take a look at this. This is slightly frustrating. Alright, go somewhere to 500 Hertz and remove some of that. Okay, let's put in the magnifying glass so it's more precise. Okay. Now I want to bypass the plugin completely. Let's shift. Okay, and shift again. Good. Let's try out. Okay, so just a few words here. It works. But since I have, again, I'm repeating myself, right? But again, if I have to click in the interface, then I can just as well use my Alt, Command, and Control buttons to perform all kinds of stuff, or Shift, or whatever I want to, right? So if I have to first click in the interface, why would I want to go and rotate the knobs afterwards? Doesn't make sense for me, I'm sorry. All right, let's go further. And let us add some tape saturation maybe, and let's put it somewhere like 6. Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. Where I click here, I have to click here. And let's take the Ampex also by the UAD. Where is this guy? Here it is, Ampex ATR 102 mustard tape. I like it a lot. Now we've got here page A and page B. And of course this is also one thing where you have, if you have a plugin that doesn't have like 16 or more than 16 knobs on it, you have to scroll between the pages obviously. And in this case it's just easier to use the UI. It just is because you have it one surface, not split between different pages. Classic Smooth Master. Let's see. This is unnecessary, by the way. I just want to have some slight drive to the tape. And it doesn't do that much, you know, especially if you see that it's playing like somewhere here. It's not overdriving the tape. It doesn't add much. It's just slightly something to the lower frequency and to a high frequency, but really not much. And I don't want this to be a radical change. All right, so I could control everything from here, the two pages of parameters. All good, nothing to complain about. So let us conclude, or let me conclude. Let's think what I like about this. So I like the possibility to control the plugins from here, but at the same time, it's not implemented to 100%. You know, I can use the EQ and the plugins, but I first have to activate them in the plugin, and that's a bummer. Obviously, I like the form factor. It's not too large, not too small. The display, I can read very well. It's bright enough. The zoom works good. I mean, every function in here works good. I sometimes, when I switch between the channels, I have at least the impression that it doesn't always select what I want. Well, then it does it. Yeah. There's no overhead. And now, okay, now it's noise gate, but the channel is still overhead. All right. Now I come to the EQ. I'm just checking something. Shift E. So, I mean, the integration with Cubase is definitely there, right? It's definitely in there. But to say that this is like great and that it would improve my workflow like a lot or considerably, I'm not sure I can say this, to be honest. Fader feels good. No negatives about this one. The cap, well, aesthetically, it's I think it's up to you to decide. This is a cool idea. Makes navigate through the separate settings easier, definitely. But what I dislike again is that the resistance of these spots is different, and this shouldn't be the case. I mean, yes, it's still a budget unit, but it's not like it's $100, right? So at least you should have similar rotary knobs. But they feel alright. Some of them are easier going, some of them are harder going, but they feel okay. I'd wish some more knobs again, so some stuff to navigate, to cut, to move, or to just jump between the clips. This is something that you do in Cubase all the time. And if you have to switch all the way back to your DAW, to your mouse and keyboard, then my question is why do I need this, right? Okay, the fader, you can argue that you could use the fader if you play with a keyboard, you know, to adjust your velocities. And hey, by the way, this is another big minus. At least until now, you cannot use this guy for controlling VST instruments or contact instruments. This won't work. You can kind of move to quick controls to adjust some parameters, but other than that, you cannot use this for VST instruments. And this is also a huge minus for me, because I'm not just mixing or editing, right? I also do a lot of songwriting where I use instruments. And if this thing takes space on my desktop, then at least it should kind of be able to do some control with VST instruments, in my opinion, again. Of course, I've got my native instruments complete control here, down here, where I can control a lot of parameters, right, from the complete software, definitely. But why not add the support of VST instruments in here as well? I'm not sure. I think there is something like the AI knob from Steinberg here, where you can make it learn to control different parameters as well, which is nice. But to be honest, I would just forget what I mapped it to. Yeah, I can show you something else. So here, if you want to edit some parameters, say, let us load any plugin. Just any basic plugin here. We could say select here, all right, and then if I click here, I can control this parameter. What did I think? Oh, it doesn't work right now. Okay, interesting. Well, shift select then, and then click. Okay, no. So there's a possibility to select some functions with the select knob on when it's blue, and then if you hover over to a parameter and click it, this would actually can be controlled by the fader. For any reason I cannot demonstrate it. It's probably user error, I suggest. All right, so to sum it up, there are things that I like about this controller, a lot of things that I dislike about the controller as well, and maybe the thing would get better over time when they release more updates, to add more functions, to have even deeper integration with Cubase. I mean, they're definitely in the right direction. But is this great right now? So at this point of like February 2025, I think it's not quite there yet, right? I think it's not quite there yet. I guess I will send this unit back, and eventually, if I see that they address the stuff that I was talking about, I might get another one and give it another shot. And for now, unfortunately for me, or fortunately for my pocket, there is not that much additional value for me to have this. I'm still just as fast, if not faster, with my keyboard and mouse, and eventually with my extra keyboard, right? So it doesn't make me work faster, and this is what the unit is actually about, right? It's supposed to improve my workflow. In my case, there might be some improvement, but it's rather small improvement, if at all, right? And some stuff is just faster and easier with mouse and keyboard. So this is my conclusion. Let me know what you think about this. Thanks for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you find it useful. And stay tuned for next streams. Have a nice one. Bye.